Assessment should reveal how well students have learned what we want them to learn, while instruction ensures that they learn it. For this to occur, assessments, learning objectives, and instructional strategies need to be closely aligned so that they reinforce one another. This tutorial introduces an alignment approach using the revised Bloom's taxonomy. Using the taxonomy can improve student learning by aligning course objectives, activities, and assessments with each other. Alignment is when critical course components work together to ensure that students achieve the desired learning outcomes. The key areas for alignment are learning outcomes or objectives, instructional activities, and assessments. You will also want to consider the resources, materials, and tools that you will use and whether or not they support the alignment of the key areas. To begin the course alignment process, we need to define a few phrases so that we are all on the same page. As you know, SLOs refer to the student learning outcomes and correspond to the course level goals. They are written in terms of what the student should be able to do or know at the conclusion of the course. SLOs focus on overarching general knowledge and/or skills and can be implicitly or explicitly stated in terms of student action. For the purpose of this training, the weekly, unit, or chapter learning objectives will be referred to as module level objectives, or MLOs. The MLOs are very important in order to set clear, specific expectations for the student and the instructor. They should be consistent with student learning outcomes, either implicitly or explicitly. MLOs are specific objectives that are observable and measurable. They specify an action that is to be done by the student. The key word or verb choice determines the technique or activity used to investigate what the students are learning or how well they are learning the objective. The key areas for alignment include learning outcomes or objectives, what the student should know at the end of the course, your SLOs, and what the student should know at the end of the lesson, MLOs. Also included are your instructional activities. This includes the types of experiences the student will engage in order to prepare them to achieve the intended learning objectives. Finally, assessments, the tasks completed by the student that will reveal whether or not the student has learned the objective. Alignment provides a better learning experience for students. It supports student-centered instruction and allows the student to clearly see the relationship between all aspects of the course. In addition, alignment provides a better teaching experience for instructors. It allows faculty to see how different outcomes for the course are being met and can determine which areas of the course may need additional work. Finally, alignment makes extracting course data much easier. It becomes easier to see what outcomes students in general are struggling with. Furthermore, alignment is a valuable tool that can aid with program and department planning, research, and accreditation purposes. If objectives, activities, and assessments are not in alignment, the course may be fragmented and ineffective. Students may receive mixed messages about what they should learn and spend time on activities that do not lead to intended goals. This can be very frustrating for the student and can undermine both motivation and learning. To help you work through your course alignment, you will be using the alignment form and Bloom's taxonomy verb list in conjunction with your key course components, SLOs, MLOs, assessments, and activities. It can be a bit tedious when conducting a course alignment analysis. However, it is a necessary process in order to ensure our students are getting the best online education possible. The basic concept is asking whether all of the key course components are in alignment with each other. Let's look at an example of an alignment between MLOs and SLOs using the Bloom's taxonomy chart. You will notice the chart is organized by levels of cognition. Level 1 is knowledge, level 2 is understand, and so on. Under each cognition level are the key words and verbs which you will identify in your SLOs and MLOs. Let me show you an example of SLO-MLO alignment, and then I will demonstrate how to use the alignment form for all key course components. This first example demonstrates an explicit alignment between SLOs and MLOs. As you can see, both words, demonstrate, are at a level 3 on the Bloom's taxonomy chart. And you can see that here. Underneath level 3 is the word demonstrate. Because they are both at a level 3 on Bloom's taxonomy chart, you know that they are aligned. You can replace the MLO verb with apply, and they would still be in alignment since apply is also a level 3 cognition verb. However, if you replaced one of those words with the word analyze, then they would not be in alignment since analyze is a level 4 keyword. This next slide shows an implicit alignment between SLOs and MLOs. In order to determine whether or not a student has mastered a concept, the MLOs must be written as measurable statements using the action verbs. The SLO, understand how and why, does not specifically describe the action a student will take to demonstrate mastery of the content. However, as you can see in the MLO, the student must be able to explain the factors, thus demonstrating an understanding of how and why. So that is how you want to think of the alignment between the SLOs and MLOs. Now let's talk about how to fill out the alignment form and then how to tackle the assessment and activity alignment. First, I want to point out that in order for an online course to be effective, all key course components for the entire course must be in alignment. The alignment form is an exercise to help you practice this skill and only provides room of a sample analysis of 2 units of work. It is expected that all online course developers will take the necessary steps to ensure alignment is standard for the duration of the entire course. Now, back to the form. Here you will fill out your name, the course title and number, and the department and program. In this first box, you will want to identify the unit title or week of the topic in which you are working. Remember, you will be analyzing 2 units or weeks for this exercise. Then, the rest of the form is divided into 2 columns. The column on the left is where you will enter your student learning outcomes, your module level objectives, your assessments, and assignments. The column on the right is where you will enter the key word, verbs, and identify which level of the Bloom's taxonomy chart it is associated with. Here I have an example of a form I have filled out. The alignment form is organized from the top down. It begins with the SLOs, followed by the MLOs, assessments, and then supporting activities and assignments. I find it most helpful to start with the MLOs of the unit in which you are analyzing. From there, you determine the SLOs that are consistent, either implicitly or explicitly, with your MLOs. As you can see, I've highlighted the key words for both SLOs, MLOs, and also for the assessments. You want to use the Bloom's taxonomy chart to provide a label for what level the keywords would land in. For example, Module Level 2.1's keyword is identify. This is Level 1. As you can see in the SLOs, I also have a Level 1. Now, once you get those 2 matched up, then you want to determine whether or not the assessments are in alignment with your objectives and outcomes. So here I have multiple choice. Multiple choice quiz means recall or identify, which is also a level 1. So we are assessing at the same level that we have established with our objectives and our outcomes. For a graded assignment, I want to apply a model. Apply is a level 3. We also have identified a level 3 in our module level objectives and a level 3 in our student learning outcomes. Now, let's say that an SLO had a different keyword. For example, for student learning outcome 1, let's say that this word, apply, was actually evaluate. Now, if you go to your Bloom's taxonomy chart and you look at evaluate, evaluate is a level 5 verb. If you've noticed, down here in your assessments, we are not assessing at a level 5 verb. So therefore, your course would not be aligned. Now on the other side, let's say I didn't want them to take this multiple choice quiz. They've already had enough work. Well, would my course be aligned if I took it out, removed that particular lesson activity quiz? Yes, it would, because down here in this graded assignment, you are still assessing at a level 1. The idea is we cannot have assessments that measure a different level than what you set out to measure with the SLOs at the course level. The last thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the assignments sufficiently prepare students to achieve the intended learning objective. Do your assignments support the practice of the knowledge and skills necessary to be able to be successful within the assessment process? As you can see, I've listed the assignments that would support the learning of the content for which they will have to show me in their assessments that they understand and know. Research shows the importance of course alignment. Not only does it provide a better learning experience for the student, it allows faculty to see how different course outcomes are met. One thing to note, alignment is not a rigid practice. It is a fluid design process. You may find it necessary to adjust key course components before, during, or after the design process. Just be sure to keep the connection between what you teach and what you assess as parallel as possible to ensure that the students are learning the intended objectives.